My name's Branden. I'm a world traveler, foodie, and YouTuber. Together, you and I will find the best travel hacks, tips, and best places to explore. Join me as we find new adventures together, live only on IBM.TV. Hello, and welcome. Welcome to Best of Travel, the live weekly show where you can get the best travel tips, tricks, and hacks to make sure you have the best trip every time. My name is Branden. I'm your host today. If you want to see more of me, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and visit my website at thebrandenscott.com. That's the place to go if you want some fun tips. The link is right over there. Oh, right over there. thebrandenscott.com for more travel tips, tricks, and hacks. We're here. We're talking about travel. Welcome to the show. So first, a bit of housekeeping. I think we have to get out of the way. You're watching the show here. It's brought to you live by IBMTV. We're live on the Best of Travel YouTube channel, various Facebook pages belonging to IBMTV, but we're also not live on Twitch. So if you're watching on Twitch, that's what's happening. The other thing I want to talk about is that of course it's a live stream. So if you are watching wherever you're watching, I've got all of your thoughts, feedback, and comments coming into one place. So if you have questions about travel, if you have questions about your next trip, leave a comment below wherever you're watching and ask your questions. I want to know, what do you think? I mean, travel is a weird thing right now. It's a hot topic. Everybody wants to get out, but also we can't really travel right now. So, feel free to ask your questions. Your comments will pop up live here on the screen. We can chat. We can have a nice little time to kind of engage and have some fun. But today we're going to talk about a topic that I think is hopefully going to answer some of your questions. And then I think that we'll be able to kind of hopefully push you towards a little bit of travel time while you're here. A little bit of inspiration, a little bit of hope for the future. We'll get there. We're gonna get there. It's gonna be okay. But if you have been watching the show for a little while, first I should tell you I'm okay. I'm fine. Last week was a weird show, y'all. Last week was a wild time. We last week live on the show, you got to experience it right here with me. We we had a live coronavirus scare here on the show. So last week, as I was starting the show, I got a text literally right as the show started that that my roommate had tested positive for COVID. So I had a bit of a scare and I was like, I gotta go. And I ended the show early to go get tested. So I should say, first and foremost, I'm negative. I'm fine. I've been quarantining in my room, a lot of sitting in my room, a lot of Netflix. Haven't gone into the common areas of the house. I've tried to really isolate. So I'm still good. I tested negative last Tuesday. I took another test on Saturday and I'm still negative. I'm good. I'm groovy. And I tell you what, let me tell you, I know this isn't the show today, but I would be so mad if 10 months into this pandemic, I tested positive. So I'm glad I tested negative. I have another test coming up this week. So I'm getting tested regularly and we're all good there. We're all happy. We're all good. We're all groovy. So if you don't know me, if you're new to the stream, if you're new to the show, my name is Branden, and I do this weekly travel show called Best of Travel here on IBMTV. We're kicking off season 2, talking a lot about the future of travel, talking a lot about the future of what travel might look like in 2021. We've got this vaccine coming down. We've got this vaccine popping down the aisleway. I'm very excited. Hopefully, it means travel is in our future. We shall see. But today on the show, we've got a good show for you. We're talking all about domestic travel. So if you've watched the show for a while, you know me, you know that I have been traveling for a while, and I've traveled internationally a lot. And one of the things that I talk about is a lot of international travel. but I also spent several years traveling the United States domestically on a big old bus. Traveled all around. I have not yet been to all 50 states, but I've been to a lot of them, and I've been to a lot of cities in little states, big cities from New York, Chicago, Tulsa, and Dallas to Okmulgee, Oklahoma, and small towns in between. So today we're talking about domestic travel. Domestic travel is on the rise. And so I thought, since we're coming up in 2021, it's going to be a good year. We're going to be traveling again soon, that we would do a show about some of my favorite domestic destinations, some of my favorite spots to go visit. And I'm going to share with you some tips about some favorite spots, because it may be possible. Yeah, we'll see. It may be possible yet this year for you to take a domestic vacation and actually have a good time. So I'm going to give you some tips of some domestic USA locations you might be thinking about. This is for the USA audience. We talked a lot, last couple of weeks, some international tips. So this is more for the USA audience. If you're looking to get out of the house, I've got some spots for you. And let me tell you, we've gone all over. We've done it all. So I think I've got some good spots planned. I'm excited to share them with you. So I'm going to go through a list of some of my favorite domestic. That's a hard turn of phrase, isn't it? Domestic destinations, some of my favorite domestic spots, and I'll give you some tips about what to do while you're there, and maybe some new inspiration. We have a big old country here in the United States. I always would tell friends when I was in the UK that this country is so big that the UK could fit in Texas like 3 times. So we've got a lot of great options traveling abroad, at home, abroad at home, traveling abroad at home. In any case, we're talking today about some great domestic destinations. If you're new to the show, this is going to be hopefully a fun bit of inspiration for you, hopefully a fun bit of just some ideas of places you could go, maybe in 2021, maybe in early 2022, some great domestic cities. And there are lots of great ones. This is just a list of some of my favorites, my personal favorites from the last few years. But there are lots of spots. Don't forget to go to that website, thebrandenscott.com. You can find detailed descriptions of all of my favorite domestic locations. But first on the list, we have to start here in sunny Florida. Sunny Florida. Clearwater, Florida, a great domestic spot, a great place to go visit, a great place to see. Clearwater, Florida, if you've never been, is a beautiful area. It's here in the kind of Tampa Bay area, Clearwater Beach. It's a 3-mile stretch of white sand beaches. There's tons of unique dining options, lots of great activities. You can take a dolphin watching cruise. You could rent a jet ski. You can do all sorts of things in Clearwater. It's got a little bit of something for everybody. If you're here with a family, if you're here on an adventure seeking activity, this is a great place to come. You also, if you're looking for food, are going to be in luck, because there are tons of great restaurants. It's literally like a 3-mile stretch of beach, and right behind those white sand beaches are tons of local restaurants that are going to offer some great food. You got to try the local favorite, a grouper sandwich, which is something you eat when you're in Florida. Pairs well with a frozen cocktail. I have to say my favorite frozen cocktail in Clearwater on the beach was a Fruit Loop themed pina colada. You can't go wrong with a cocktail on the beach, right? You just can't go wrong. If you're into jet skiing, if you're into adventure activities, you're going to find a lot of it here, from parasailing. You're going to find whale watching. You're going to find dolphin watching. You can swim with dolphins and sharks. You can do all sorts of kind of fun, adventurous activities, whatever you're in the mood for. When I was in Clearwater, so I stayed at the Stay and Play Hotel. That was the hotel I showed in the first slide. But there's all sorts of hotels. There's these fun family chains. There's these kind of big national chain hotels. There's lots of options for someone who is interested in staying. So if you're looking for a more ritzy deal, you're looking for something a little fancier, you can find it here in Clearwater. If you're looking for something a little more local, you're looking for something a little more boutique, you can also find that in Clearwater Beach. I spent my what was my birthday? My 23rd birthday, I think it was. Can't remember. Here in Clearwater, and I had a great time. It's very, very walkable, so you don't necessarily need to rent a car, but it is a little bit of a drive from the airport. So if you are going to stay in somewhere like Clearwater, Florida, and you're flying into maybe the Tampa airport, you're definitely going to look at a hefty Uber price to get to where you're staying. Um, you could have a car if you want to. Parking is a little limited, but you could definitely do that as well. But there's lots of great activities here. It's one of those places that when you think of vacation, you think of. You think of Florida. This is kind of the standard uh, veneer of Florida. It's nice, I think, in somewhere like Clearwater because it is a little bit less aggressive than the Miami vibe. You're going to have a little bit better of a kind of relaxing time here than you would in somewhere like Miami. But it's a great destination, especially post-pandemic. I think it's going to be hopping once the vaccines rolled out and everybody's safe and happy and fine. People are going to want to flock to the beaches here, so book early because prices will probably go up. But it is a beautiful, relaxing area. The other nice thing about Clearwater, Florida, is that it is in close proximity to a lot of other great tourist destinations. You're close to St. Pete. So you've got other beaches as well in the area if that's something you're interested in. You're close to Tampa Bay, so if you're here for the Super Bowl, if you're going to go for a Tampa Bay Rays game, if you're going to go for maybe a theatrical performance at the Mahaffey Theater, if you've never been to the Mahaffey Theater in Tampa Bay in St. Pete, it is a beautiful theater. Lots of great things to do. Of course, there's the Amalie Arena. So if you're looking for sports, concerts, or any activities like that, you're nearby. You're centralized. So if you do have your car and you're having a little vacation on Clearwater, it's not out of the realm of possibility to drive up to a concert, to drive up to an event in the Tampa Bay area as well. If you're real crazy, you could do Tampa Bay, do Clearwater, Florida, and then hop down to Disney, maybe if you have a family. But it is a really beautiful, beautiful area. I will warn you, the city of Clearwater regularly ranks very high on the best beach lists, the best beaches of the US, the best beaches of the country. So it can be pretty busy. If you're looking to go to the beach and spend a day at the beach in Clearwater, get there early because they will fill up. You can see in this little picture here, all these little stand full of people, full of people. So get there early, stake out your spot, pop up an umbrella, put out a towel. You're going to want to make sure to claim your own little plot of sand to be set for the day. Don't forget your sunscreen is the other thing I would say. That ocean breeze will get you. If you're not from Florida, you got to be careful. You'd be out in the sun on those white beaches, reflect all the sunlight, so it's easy to get sunburned. I know after one day on Clearwater Beach, I was so sunburned that I spent like the next day, I think, just laying in bed, not moving, because I did not apply enough sunscreen. So gotta have those precautions, gotta have those little things you look out for, things you're careful of. Sunscreen's always important. The next location that I want to share with you, it's a really fun location. It's a spot that it's not often thought of as a great domestic location. It's something that people overlook a lot, and that's the thing. Like, we should talk about a little bit, right? We should say that people will often overlook a lot of cities in the United States as vacation destinations because we are used to a vacation being an event. You're going to go to somewhere like Disneyland, or you're going to go to Paris, or you're going to go somewhere. But there are a lot of great spots in your own backyard that you can visit here in the United States, that maybe a couple hours from you, that are so worth a weekend vacation. And a lot of them are definitely highly underrated. I don't know if you guys spend a lot of time traveling in the United States. I have, and I can tell you that some of the coolest places I've found are really quirky, small, fun towns here in the US. So there are lots of really great options for you in the United States, no matter where you're at. If you're in the Midwest, you've got lots of great options. You've got Chicago, you've got Cleveland, you've got Cincinnati, you've got Indianapolis. And you might not think of these as traditional vacation destinations, but they absolutely can be. A lot of them pack enough punch that you can stay busy in these towns for a good week if you would want to. So overlooked a little bit, but something that I think is worth mentioning. This particular city is well known for one thing and one thing only. I'll see if you can guess what it is. You ready? It's St. Louis. St. Louis. The famous St. Louis, right? The gateway to the West. People don't think of it as a vacation destination, and they absolutely should. I'm baffled by this. St. Louis has so much to offer. It's a busy city. In fact, I think I might have got this wrong, but I think Forbes or someone just did an article where it was rated like third or second for remote workers now in the new pandemic. In the new pandemic work economy. So a lot of great things to offer in St. Louis, and it's also a really affordable vacation spot. So if you are maybe in the Midwest, maybe you're kind of in the bread basket area of the country, and you're looking for a nice escape, it's an affordable escape. You're going to have lots of great activities. If you've got a family, you're going to have lots of great activities for the kids. If you're just there by yourself, you're going to be able to stay plenty busy because there's really a lot to do in somewhere like St. Louis, and people don't think about some of these towns often enough, I think. So when it comes to somewhere like St. Louis, you've got your classics, right? You've got your Arch, you've got that's really all the city's known for, right? The Arch, but there's a lot there. It's a busy, hopping city. St. Louis is also home to a thriving art scene. They've got the Zach Theater, which has tons of original shows, concerts. They also have a lot of other theaters in downtown where you can see tours of large Broadway shows. You can see big events, concerts. I mean, it's a really art hefty city. But it's known for the Arch. It's known for that. I know maybe the art scene a little bit, but what it's really known for is its food scene. The food scene in St. Louis is mwah. Ratatouille the musical ain't got nothing on this. St. Louis has such a foodie scene. It's got BB Jazz, Blues, and Soups, which is a great eatery with jazz music. It's got a ton of local breweries. You got to get through that cold winter somehow. Am I right? There's always something delicious cooking up in this city. There are so many kind of hipstery, fun, foodie locations that I just can't get enough of. And so you really have a lot to do. You have all of the kind of food scene, you have all the kind of history, you have all the great music scene as well. Recently on a trip there, the picture is actually of a Valentine's dinner that I took myself on, believe it or not, to the Bridge Tap House. And I treated myself, of course, to a top shelf cocktail and some great wine. The food I had was delicious. The scallops were really delightful. The staff was also awesome. It was Valentine's Day, and being alone at a restaurant on Valentine's Day can be intimidating. But if you're a solo traveler, that's what happens to you a lot, right? You're kind of in that world. So it was really nice to sit down, have my little table for one, and the staff was so kind. The martinis were excellent. The wine paired well, and the menu was so thick. At the Bridge House in St. Louis, the Bridge Tap House in St. Louis. The menu was so thick, full of beers, local craft brews, local brewery options, national options, sure. But I mean, it was just such a great kind of foodie fun experience. And I can't tell you enough about these scallops. These scallops were delicious, and it was a really nice ambiance too. I mean, it was a really pretty bar. You could easily pop in just for a cocktail, but it also was comfortable enough to sit down for dinner. You didn't feel too crowded. It was a really nice ambiance. I think, really nice place to share. And I think that that's what we come to with a lot of these cities, right? Somewhere like St. Louis, you have the foodie scene, you have, of course, the Arch, you have the zoo, the St. Louis Zoo, great zoo. You have a Six Flags. So if you're maybe have teenagers or you're looking for some thrill-seeking activity, you've got the Six Flags. Go on those roller coasters, scream your heart out. Who doesn't love a good roller coaster at a Six Flags? And you have the wonderful City Museum. The City Museum has all sorts of interactive exhibits. They've got these kind of fun physics exhibits where you can figure out how physics works by sitting in chairs and doing different experiments on yourself. There's a lot of really kind of cool things in St. Louis. They also have, this is kind of a fun historical fact, the St. Louis Union Station. St. Louis Union Station, of course, used to be an actual station. Now it is home to 13,000 animals. The St. Louis Aquarium is housed there. So if you're looking for a really fun experience, St. Louis can't go wrong in an aquarium, right? You go swim with the fishes. And also in the St. Louis Union Station, you have the 200-foot St. Louis Ferris wheel, which is like the London Eye of the West, I guess, and mini golf, tons and tons and tons of stuff. I will say a fun, friendly tip. If you're going to visit St. Louis, check out Forest Park. Forest Park, everybody write that down. Forest Park is a hidden gem of St. Louis. It was once home to the 1904 World's Fair. It is the one of the largest urban parks in the United States. Forest Park in St. Louis attracts 12 million visitors a year. The scenic trails, the the biking trails, it is a just beautiful, beautiful place to visit. If you're looking for a great sunrise, start there. Start at Forest Park in St. Louis. Maybe take the arch up after sunrise has come, but Forest Park is going to be where you're going to catch the best sunrise in St. Louis. One of the cool areas of Forest Park is a little area called the Jewel Box, I think it's called. It's a beautiful greenhouse. It's just got tons of arrangements of floral displays. It's got, I mean, it's just stunning. There's butterflies. It's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful greenhouse. And of course, there's golf courses. There, I'm talking like I am from St. Louis. There's golf courses. So if you're a golfer, you got a great spot. You got the World's Fair Pavilion if you're looking for a lovely little picnic. It's really a great time. I wrote a whole blog post about it on my website, or my kind of short time in St. Louis. Also made a video. So if you're looking for the abbreviated version, I did a video of what to do if you've only got 6 hours in St. Louis. Where do you go? I will say, speaking of coffee, you have to be careful of the coffee in St. Louis. I've had some bad experiences with the coffee in St. Louis, which you'll see in the video if you decide to watch. But that's these are the destinations we're talking about, right? These are the places, the domestic areas, the local destinations that aren't too far. You can easily road trip and have a long weekend in one of these cities that are going to be chock full of activities, things for you to do, things for you to see. I mean, it's just some of these cities are really stunning places to visit, but you might not normally think of them. Some of these cities are so off the beaten path, if you will, that nobody really thinks twice about. Oops, pull up the ad break early. Nobody really thinks twice about visiting some of these places. But some of these domestic cities are really truly the place to go. I've got a couple more domestic locations coming up here after the break. We've got some really cool spots. I think if you're a regular viewer of the show, so if you're a regular commenter, you're really gonna like my next city. I think you're gonna be thrilled. So stick around for that. We are going to take a quick break. If you are just joining the stream, this is Best of Travel. We're giving you all the best travel tips, tricks, and hacks to have the best vacation every time. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we're going to give you even more thrilling, fun domestic cities to visit, and hopefully you'll have a really good time, visiting them. Hopefully you'll have a really great experience at some of these places. So don't go anywhere. We're going to have a blast. And I'm really excited for the next 2 cities. I think we're gonna have a great time. So with that being said, I'll see you right after the break. Travel. It doesn't have to be complicated, and it doesn't have to be expensive. When you think of travel, it can be easy to get overwhelmed, from pricey airline flights, dates of your hotel, navigating in Ubers and taxis in foreign languages, and currency exchange. It can feel really complicated, but it doesn't have to be. Let me help you break down travel into some easy, simple steps so that way you can take the trip of a lifetime without breaking the bank or stressing yourself out. Travel is more complicated now than ever, so having a guide who's experienced to help you navigate the world of travel can be priceless. And it is priceless. It's free to watch here on IBMTV and free to subscribe to my YouTube channel, where I'll give you some great travel tips and advice. There's nothing quite like snapping that photo at sunset in Paris, trying great coffee in Colombia, or adventuring around Spain having a great sunny day. Even if you want to travel domestically, from budget travel guides in New Orleans, New York, Paris, and London, to luxury travel guides and everything in between, travel can be so much fun and so much more affordable than you think. I hope you're having a great time watching me here live on IBM TV. I have a ton of fun making Travel Tuesdays Travel with Branden, and I hope you're having a lot of fun watching. If you're enjoying what you're seeing, swing by my YouTube channel. You can find my YouTube channel full of great travel tips, some travel hacks, some food recommendations, city guides, budget travel tips, and so much more. Subscribing on YouTube is free to do, and it helps support me and continue making great travel content for you to see. You can also visit me online at thebrandonscott.com, where you can get even more travel advice, some great links, and some in-depth breakdowns of trips I've taken and trips you can plan. It's a great way to find a little bit of inspiration for your next adventure and some travel tips. I've got cities both domestic and international that you can check out, find the best places to eat, the best things to see, the best things to do, and how to do it all affordably. Whether you want to stay at Airbnbs or five-star luxury hotels, there are great ways you can do all of those things on a budget. Swing by my YouTube channel, give that big red subscribe button some love, and don't forget to visit thebrandonscott.com for even more travel tips.
And I ran away out of all this gray. I just went out.
Welcome back to the show. Welcome back to the stream, everybody. If you're just joining us, you are watching Best of Travel, a show that gives you all the best tips, tricks, and hacks to find the best vacation every time. My name is Branden, and I'm your host. If you don't know me, check out my website and YouTube channel. And of course, you can join me live every Tuesday here on Best of Travel at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. The next place that I'm going to share with you, I think you're going to be excited about. It's a really cool destination. It's a destination that if you're a regular viewer of the show, you'll know probably pretty well. And I think it's going to be fun to. I'm excited. I'm excited to share this one. This destination, of course, is the lovely, the beautiful Wilmington, North Carolina. Oh, let me hear it for those North Carolinians. I, I have to admit, I do like Wilmington. It is a great place to visit. Wilmington is, it's a popular tourist destination. You get some spring breakers there, not as much as the Miami scene, but it's a really great vacation spot. Wilmington boasts some of North Carolina's most popular tourist attractions. Really on the East Coast, if you were to base on annual attendance. One vacation trip could mean stepping aboard battleships and touring historic Civil War forts and battlefields. You can have a really great intellectual experience in Wilmington. On the other hand, if you're more into relaxing, you can take a tour of a Victoria era mansion, wander through some gardens. You can explore the art scene. You can look through history if you're interested or science, but you can also have a lot of fun in Wilmington. You can totally immerse yourself in aquatic fun. You can visit all the great aquariums. I think it's an award-winning aquarium in Wilmington. You can also head out to the beaches if you're looking for some scuba, some snorkel, maybe some fun in the sun. That's not a bad option at all. Wilmington is Really, really a pretty place to go. It's of course on the water, so you do have a lot of great options for water sports, but you also have a lot of really fun intellectual places, relaxing places to visit. Museum Mecca is really awesome. If you've never been, Museum Mecca is a really great place to visit. You have the famous USS North Carolina, hoorah, or whatever the battleship people say. You have Arley, I'm going to butcher the name, Arley Gardens. I've always said Arley Gardens, but when you get to southern or kind of southern states, they tell you your pronunciation is wrong. So Arley Gardens. Wilmington is really a vibrant city. It's perfect for someone who is looking for the beach experience without the heat of a Florida summer. So maybe if Clearwater is not so much for you and you're looking for some fun, relaxing time on the beach, but you don't want to just get burnt and toasty, Wilmington's great because even in the summer, it's hot, but it's cool at night. You get a really nice mix of both, so you don't have to worry about that kind of intense humidity or alligators or some of those other Florida experiences you might be familiar with. If you're looking to stay dry, there are attractions all over the place for you too. If you're out on the younger crowd, the bar scene is a ton of fun. There's lots of great local bars offering concerts and trivia nights, really unique food and drink combos. Happy hour there is great. It's a pretty affordable area to go up and down in Wilmington, so you can't go wrong there, I think. But it's also got kind of a fun bar scene in the sense that you've got like the dive bars and the kind of deadhead area bars, but you also have the really kind of classy fun martini bars and craft cocktail spots. So if you're into that, that's a really great option. Of course, Wilmington is also known for its food. Can't go wrong with the food in Wilmington. There are lots of great spots. I actually just wrote a blog post on a ton of great spots in Wilmington. That I think went out today. Let me check. I could be wrong. I think that blog post went out today. So if you're looking for a detailed guide to exploring Wilmington, I have it. I have it for you at thebrandonscott.com. Go check it out. Go visit. But Wilmington has a lot of those options for you. So the food scene here is great. You get a lot of great, fresh, fun seafood. You get a lot of really fun, kind of foodie, interesting locations. If you're staying in Wilmington, I would say the Hive is great in downtown Wilmington. It's a hotel called The Hive, Hive. It's a delightful boutique hotel. It's got a plush modern style interior. It's really kind of fun and full of flair and whimsical. It's only got like 14 or 20 rooms, so you have to book in advance, but it's centrally located. They have full kitchens in the hotel, on-site laundry. It's a great place to stay. But there are lots of other great places, of course, to stay in Wilmington as well. This picture that I have up, this lovely foodie spot, is a famous Wilmington place. It's called Flaming Amy's Burritos. Flaming Amy's is a sort of like folk legend of the Wilmington area, I would say. If you drive around the suburbs enough, you'll see everybody has these bumper stickers that say FAB, just like fab in big letters. It's an iconic abbreviation branding bumper sticker for this foodie spot. They offer giant burritos just the size of your head. I mean, it's nuts. Super, super cheap, spicy, fun food, all the sauces you could ever want. At somewhere like Flaming Amy's. It's a very, very casual place. It's kind of like a Chipotle. You walk through the line, you get your stuff, you sit down, you eat, you go. But it is a really delicious place to stop for lunch. If you're looking for something a little more upscale, a little fancier though, in the Wilmington area, there are some options for you there too. You can check out my blog post, like I said, for a detailed travel guide of what to do in Wilmington. I'm a fan of a place called Manna Avenue 123. Manna Ave is kind of the colloquial name. It is a stunning restaurant in Wilmington. It's the first and only restaurant to receive the AAA Diamond Award since like 2015. It's a really, really great foodie spot. They've got a super chic layout, kind of fun modern vibe. The dishes are all made with local ingredients, so the menu changes daily at a place like this. I mean, daily. You really have to work to keep up with fresh ingredients. But the good thing is, if you're in Wilmington for a while, you can come back a few times. Just keep coming back because the menu changes. That's what I like about those kind of fun, fun local restaurants is that you can't really tell somebody what to get there because the menu just changes all the time. So, definitely worth a visit. It's called Mana Avenue 123. And don't feel like you have to write all this down. Listen, I know I'm throwing a lot. I'm spitballing. I'm throwing you a lot of info. If you visit my website, I have in-depth guides to each city I'm mentioning, descriptions of what I did, where I ate, where I went. So check out my website. You don't feel like you have to start taking notes. This isn't a college class. You can always visit the website for a breakdown, and just type in the search bar where you're looking to go, and I'll share with you any articles I have about that spot. I do like Flamin' Amy's though. It is kind of a fun, iconic spot. It's a great spot, especially after like a long day at the beach and you just want to like shove food in your mouth. That's the place to go. Somewhere like Mana Avenue is more of a fancy dinner place. There's also a place in Wilmington called Catch, which has really good seafood. It's by a chef named Keith Rhodes, and it's like seafood paradise. So if you're looking for some really fun, modern seafood dishes, this is the place to go. Wilmington has a lot going on, really a lot of great kind of variations of things to do. It's a good family spot because you do have kind of the traditional touristy downtown. You have the beach if you're looking for that. You have the museums. You have the art scene if you're looking for some kind of fun artsy vacation. But if you've got the older crowd and you're looking to kind of relax, I mean, you have everything, right? So it's overlooked a lot, but I think that Wilmington is a really great tourist destination. It is pretty popular. It's definitely more popular than some of the other places I've mentioned so far. So make sure you think about that when you're booking. The next spot I want to share with you is a spot that's close to my heart. I have a lot of fun there, and it's a really kind of cool area to visit. It's Alcatraz Island and San Francisco. These are two separate things, really. I know they are, but you could spend a whole day of your vacation on Alcatraz Island. I mean, it's that fun, and there's that much to do. It's easily a 4 to 6 hour trip. I did a whole breakdown of it on my YouTube channel of my day trip to Alcatraz Island, so be sure to check out that. They've got a great audio tour of the cell block, and it's really fun because it's kind of eerie. You walk around these empty cells and there's tons of people there usually. Now, post pandemic it'll be hard to say, but usually there's tons of people there, and you put on these headphones and it tells you the story and tells you where to walk. So everyone's kind of doing it at their own pace, and it's silent. So you take off your headphones, it's like, oh, like it's spooky and silent. It's really a fun audio tour to do. They have a little movie theater that shows a short documentary on a loop, so you can always check that out. They also have a bunch of exhibits that change. So in some of the buildings, they'll do exhibits of the history of the guards. They'll do exhibits about the history of the prisoners, the history of the prison system. I mean, it's really a great way to spend a good 4 to 6 hours on Alcatraz Island. It is rainy though, so bring your cold weather gear. You're gonna find a lot of a lot of rain and mist on Alcatraz Island. So don't forget your poncho if you get to the island and you don't have an umbrella. Like I got to the island and didn't have an umbrella, you're easily gonna spend $20 for one at the gift shop. So don't forget that. Don't make that mistake. Of course, you have all of San Francisco right there too. San Francisco is a pretty popular tourist destination. Um, and a lot of people do visit San Francisco, but I think it's something you got to kind of do them together. You know, if you're going to go all the way out there, you got to visit Alcatraz Island for a day, and then maybe 2 or 3 days in San Fran. There's a lot to do in San Francisco. You've got the Golden Gate Bridge, you've got the kind of classic San Fran things, but you have a lot of great food. If you're looking for good food in the San Francisco area, Fisherman's Wharf has all the touristy restaurants you could ever want. So if you're on vacation and you've got a big old family and you're trying to figure out who's going to eat what, where we're going to go, Fisherman's Wharf is the way to go. This is Alcatraz Island, so this is kind of what the tour looks like. You've got a really kind of big rocky outcrop, I guess is the way to put it. And it's so fascinating, the history of this island too, because they kept Al Capone there. They kept all sorts of famous people there. But San Francisco as a whole is a kind of really fun place to visit. you got to get there on a day when it's not foggy, because if it's foggy in San Francisco, you're not going to get your great photo of the Golden Gate Bridge. You're not going to have great photos like this of downtown. This is what a foggy day looks like in San Francisco, right? So you see the buildings and everything else is just gray. And that's pretty much what it looks like, what it looks like on a foggy day in San Francisco. But Fisherman's Wharf is great because there's a touristy restaurant for everybody. So I'm not big on the super touristy things. I like to figure out where the locals are eating. But if you're looking for something that's going to suit the whole family or the whole group, God bless you if you're taking a group vacation. This is a great place to stop. There is there's I can't think of what it's called. There's a garlic themed restaurant there. It's called the I want to say it's called like the bloomin' garlic, or the, I can't think of what it's called, but all their dishes are very very garlicky, and that's what you need when you're in San Francisco because it's so cold and dreary and rainy. You gotta get some carbs. You gotta get some carbs in ya. Am I right? Like, whew, man. If you're in San Francisco, you should also stop by Chinatown. Chinatown in San Francisco is unlike any other Chinatown in the United States. It is the largest of its kind in North America, and the food in Chinatown is to die for. It's so good. So if you've got maybe a touristy group that's willing to try some really authentic fun food, that's a great place to stop and do it. The Alcatraz tour, like I said, it can take 4 to 6 hours, and this is kind of what it looks like. You notice the people in ponchos. Oh, I love that. I love That's what it's like in San Francisco. I feel like most of the year. I know they have their sunny season, but I feel like that's what it's like most of the year. So definitely bring your poncho, definitely bring your raincoat and your umbrella because it is rainy. But this is kind of the fun tour, and like I said, they kind of walk you through it all with an audio tour bit by bit. So really a fun way to spend the day. And I went not knowing a lot about Alcatraz. Like I knew I knew they kept like Al Capone, I think, but I don't I think I knew the people tried to escape because I saw that episode on Mythbusters, but I didn't know a lot of the history about what the prison was actually like, and what it meant for people who were there. So it's really a kind of interesting historical journey to take through somewhere. It's so yeah, it's so interesting. And the other thing that I thought was interesting about it is it's not like a traditional jail that you would visit where it's like, here's the jail. It's a whole complex. You have people that lived on the island that were like wardens and guards and service people and stuff, and their whole families would live on the island. Like they wouldn't leave the island, they would just all live there. So they had living quarters for the people working there. They had like an apartment for the warden. They had lots of different buildings. So I thought that was super fascinating. And they talked a lot, I think in this particular building they talked a lot about the work that the inmates would do because they all did a lot of work. So a really great history lesson in the San Francisco area. I will say, if you're gonna go, definitely check out my blog post and my videos about it, because getting out to Alcatraz, there are a lot of scammers. There's only one company that sells tickets that the National Park Service actually allows to go to and from Alcatraz Island and dock there. But there are a lot of people that will sell you an upcharged ticket to that service. So you got to be careful. Don't get them scams. Basically, if anybody's going to walk up to you on the docks and say tickets to Alcatraz, buy it here, don't do it. But check out my materials on that, because I want to make sure you don't get scammed. You're going to spend enough on those umbrellas. We don't need that. We don't need that life. The next spot I'm going to share with you is another really fun, overlooked spot. So a little less well known than somewhere like San Francisco. It's a little less. It's probably more on the St. Louis path. And now that I say this, of course, I'm gonna say the name wrong, and every Southerner is gonna hate me. I can feel it coming already. I can feel it. Okay, here I go. It is. Oh, hang on. I should have a sip of coffee because I'm gonna butcher it. Louisville, Kentucky. How'd I do? Louisville. Whenever I say Louisville, Kentucky, most of the people who are from this place will go, no, it's not Louisville, it's Louisville. And you just kind of mumble the whole word. So I know, listen, leave a comment below. I get it. I didn't say it right. Louisville, 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 Louisville. Louisville, Kentucky is definitely overlooked as far as vacations go. I know I never say the name right. Come for me in the comments. That's fine. It's right on the river. So you've got a ton of stuff to do here in Louisville. It is a kind of metropolitan area on the par of somewhere like St. Louis. There's lots of great museums. There's lots of stuff to do. Of course, you have the famous Churchill Downs. They do tours of that. When I did the tour of Churchill Downs, it was a lot of fun. They let you walk right out on the racetrack, and you got to kind of do all sorts of kind of fun horse-related activities. But they also have the Louisville Slugger there in Louisville, and you can take a tour of the museum of the baseball bat, the Louisville Slugger, the famous baseball bat, and they let you make your own baseball bat. And then you can buy these fun little mini baseball bats to take home. I still have my little mini baseball bat from the Louisville Slugger Museum. Good time to be had by all in Louisville. So if you've got a family and you're looking for a fun, affordable nearby vacation, Louisville is great because you do have Churchill Downs. There's lots of great activities there. You have the Louisville Slugger. Let the little rascals run around with baseball bats and go crazy. You have those elements. So it is really great in that sense as well. The other thing you have in Louisville is you have bluegrass. So if you're a bluegrass fan, there's lots of bluegrass concerts. There's concerts on the river. The city puts on tons of great events. So always kind of keep posted of that when you're in town. You also have a place called the Speed Art Museum, which is really cool. They have various exhibits and always something interesting at the Speed Art Museum. Of course, if you're in Louisville, the thing you can't miss is the bourbon. So here's what I would say if you're in Louisville. Like I said, I have detailed guides and all this on my website, so be sure to check that out. It's hard to fit all these recommendations into an hour. I would say if you're in Louisville, do your fun activities, right? During the day, go to the Louisville Slugger Museum, go to Churchill Downs. In the evening, take a stroll up and down the river. It's really, really pretty. Look at this picture. Look at this place in sunset. Stunning, right? It's really, really pretty. Totally worth a visit. And you can go out on the river. You can actually get on these boats and kind of go out and about up and down the river. I would say, though, of course, the most famous thing about Louisville is the bourbon. From visiting local distillers to bars that serve bourbon with a fun twist, this iconic booze is what Louisville's really known for, right? Hey, I hate bourbon, but people love it. People love their bourbon. You can't go wrong with a bourbon. The one thing I can't do, I can tell you a lot about travel and I can give you a lot of recommendations. The one thing I can't do when it comes to Louisville is I can't tell you what bars to visit because you got to visit them all. When I was there, I opted for this monstrosity. This particular company was called the Thirsty Peddler, but there are lots of companies that offer this. And they're basically like 12-seat bicycles, and they have a little bar area, and they have music. They can play music, and you rent them, and a driver steers you around while you all pedal. So you gotta have a little bit of physical oomph, but they take you to a bunch of different bourbon bars, so you can kind of pick your tour. I think we went to maybe about a half dozen bars in an afternoon on this bicycle. And each bar has a unique take on bourbon. Some of them have really fun specialty cocktails. Some of them have fancy bourbon that's expensive. And some of them are all about the history of bourbon. So you can really get a nice mix of all of those things there. It's this 12-person bike, and it's a ton of fun to do in the afternoon. Look, there's the bike in the parking lot of one of the bars. So you kind of have these stools you sit on, and you actually do pedal the bike the whole way through. It is a lot of fun. You can drink on the bike. So if you go into the bar and you get a cocktail, it's going to take you a while because you're bicycling to the next spot. So you can drop your cocktail in little cup holders and keep pedaling. The group I was with this day are all some really close friends. I spent a year traveling all over the country with this group of people, actually. And we got on and we put on some good music. We danced. There was some karaoke. It was really kind of great way to explore downtown Louisville, it was also a great way to hit up some of those bars because it's so famous for bourbon. It's impossible to pick a place. So, pop in every, couple of places, have a couple cocktails, and get to know a few bars in the area. You got to be careful on something like the Thirsty Peddler, though. It took us, I think, to like 6 bars, and I think I had a cocktail at each bar, and by the end of it, I was like, I was out. But you got to have that experience, right? You got to you got to do it. You got to do it. Louisville is totally worth it. They've got the KFC Yum Center, so there's lots of great events, cultural things. I mean, it's really a great place to go. You got to really, you got to really, you got to be cautious. You got to be careful, but it is a lot of fun to visit Louisville. So I think that the kind of moral of the story here is that there are lots of great domestic options. And as we come out of the pandemic, we're going to be traveling a lot more domestically than we normally would. So you have to keep that in mind. Think about some of these destinations that are really fun, that are really unique, maybe that are really quirky, and what they can offer. Because a lot of cities in the United States have a lot more than you might think, and they have a lot more going on. I mean, they're cultural hubs for their state sometimes. So totally worth visiting. I particularly will say I had a really great time in New Orleans. I had a really great time in Louisville. I had a really great time in Fresno, California. Believe it or not, I had a really great time in Portland. There are lots of these fun domestic places you can visit. So if you are feeling a little stuck at home when the vaccine starts to roll out, we start to get a little more, safe to travel. These are going to be the ways to do it. These are going to be the ways to go. So domestic travel, the American road trip, it is back. It is thriving. It's going to be the kind of pinnacle of American travel for a while. So if you're looking for a destination post-pandemic, this is going to be the place for you. Some of these cities that you might have overlooked in the past. I can say that Florida's great, Miami's great, but there are lots of places that are over hyped and lots of places that are under touristed. So don't be afraid to explore your own backyard. Totally worth it. As we come towards the end of the show here, I want to say a couple things. So first, if you haven't visited my website, thebrandenscott.com, now's the time to do it. I've got a new line of merchandise out that I'm really excited about. I'm now offering face masks. The Create line just launched the other week. So go pick up some fun stuff from that. That's that little link over here, thebrandenscott.com. Go visit the website. The other thing is I threw a lot at you. In an hour. A lot of cities. And let me tell you, I've been all over the United States. I've spent 2 years going coast to coast, both sides, north, south, east, and west. So, you have to visit the website, I think, to get the detailed information on all those city guides. Thanks for watching, Terry. I'm glad you popped in. I'm always happy to see you. I feel like whenever your comment comes up, it always makes me giggle. So thanks for popping in. And yes, when you get on the road, listen, call me up. I'll give you the best places to go and the best restaurants. I can tell you some of the best hidden gems of some random cities around the world. You want to know the best place to take a nap at the train station in Dijon, France? I got you. You're looking for the best bar in New Orleans? That's tough. But I got you. We'll sort it out. If you're looking for the fanciest meal in Bakersfield, California, I'm on it. I've been to a lot of these places, and I've been to a lot of these places a couple times. So, I'm happy to share some of this information. Like I said, I threw a lot of cities at you just now, and I tried to throw a lot of restaurant names, hotel names, events and activities, all sorts of stuff. I threw it all at you at once. So, if you did find a city you thought was interesting, always visit thebrandenscott.com for a detailed travel guide. And of course, subscribe to my YouTube channel where you can actually see me in real time doing some of these things. This is great on IBMTV because it's like I get to talk to you about travel. But if you want to see me actually go do some of this stuff, hop on over to that YouTube channel and subscribe over there, because that's how I know, that's how I gauge how many people are watching this show. So make sure you check me out over there as well with that Create line. The other thing I want to say as we come towards the end of the show is that we're not there yet. We're close. I can taste it. I can see the light. I can see the light. Isn't that a song? I can see the light. I think it's a song. But Kim says, be careful not to drink too many hurricane drinks in Orleans. Listen, God, I should not. This is a family-friendly network, Kimberly. Let me tell you, my first time in New Orleans, I was 22, 23 maybe. I was not young, but I was young, but I was old enough to know better. I started in New Orleans my day with brunch, and we started drinking at brunch. And after brunch, because the bars are open all day long in New Orleans, so you do have to be very careful. Because I went to a couple of bars up and down New Orleans, and they had the hurricanes, and they have the grenades, or these things called a grenade, and they won't tell you what's in them. I think they just pick up the bar mat and dump them all in. It's awful. But anyway, I was 22. I didn't know any better. So I had a couple drinks and I did not make it back to the hotel. And I wet myself on the streets of New Orleans. So you do have to be careful there. There's a lot of great stuff in New Orleans other than the drinking. But definitely check out the website for some of those detailed travel guides. We have a lot of fun. I did a whole budget city guide on New Orleans. So whatever you're looking for, that's the place to go. Now I've got some exciting stuff I think planned for the show. This is going to be a fun year, I think, for us. We're hopefully going to get back into travel. We're not there yet, like I said, so stay home, wear your mask, be safe. Y'all witnessed it in real time last week. I started the show, I started broadcasting, and I got the text, your roommate has coronavirus. I was like, and I had to go, I had to run, and off I went, and had to leave the stream early. So, you got to wear your mask. You got to stay safe. You got to stay at home. You got to be careful about what you do, because it's it's a scary place out there. But when it's safe to travel again, I'll be the first to let you know. And you've got all my travel guides to back you up to make sure you have the best vacation every time. Kimberly's had a similar experience. Listen, New Orleans will do that to you. It is a strange, bizarre, magical place where you have a cocktail and next thing you know, you're on stage with a drag queen. It's just wild. Kim's asking about the Super Bowl in Tampa. Let me tell you, we're going to do a whole episode on the Super Bowl in Tampa, because here's the thing. It's happening still in the height of the pandemic. Most people in the Tampa Bay area probably won't be vaccinated by the time the Super Bowl rolls into town. So I've got a whole list. Don't you worry. We're gonna do a whole fun show on the Super Bowl in the Tampa Bay area. But that was kind of the point of today's show, is to point out some fun local domestic travel options. So that way, as we start to get a little bit more vaccinated and a little bit more clear of the pandemic in 2021, you're able to take a vacation without having to worry about visas and passports and blowing all your money on all sorts of expensive European vacations. Hop down to somewhere like St. Louis or Clearwater Beach. Pop on over to Louisville or to Wilmington. I don't know if you saw, Kim, I did a whole segment on Wilmington. I hope you're proud. Great city. But this is the Carolinas. They're kind of all one to me. But there's lots of great tourist options in your own backyard. So you gotta really learn how to explore. I have a whole series of USA travel guides on my website and on my YouTube channel. So if you're interested in that, feel free to check that out. And of course, tune in every Tuesday here on IBMTV at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for the best of travel, where we're talking all about travel tips, tricks, and hacks to make sure you have the best trip every single time. I appreciate y'all. I hope you guys are staying safe. Thanks for bearing with me. I know last week was crazy, and I'll keep you posted as we get into future weeks as to what happens. I'm basically hunkering down in my room. So if now was the time to follow me on Twitch or something, I'm sitting around doing nothing. So I'm making a lot of fun digital media. But anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next week for another episode of just a little bit more fun travel information. And I hope you guys are staying safe and staying healthy.